Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video. Today we had our premiere episode of Season 2 of Daryl Dixon, and I did a review on that, so if you haven't seen it, please go check that out. But kind of to sum it all up, the opening episode for this season was not amazing, but it was still okay. Like, I didn't hate the episode or anything. It's starting off very slow. I think it's kind of easing us back into it, especially with Carol joining the mix, kind of reintroducing us to her and introducing us to new characters and getting to know them, even though pretty sure they're not going to be around very long, so it really won't matter in the long run. But getting into this video, I wanted to cover the teaser that we got for the rest of the season. It's kind of this season on Daryl Dixon kind of thing. And we have some pictures. And we have some pictures that I grabbed kind of describing or just kind of going over what we could possibly see this season, make predictions and whatnot, and just talk about what's going on with the show and what it will ultimately kind of end up being going into what is already confirmed, the third season. So without further ado, we're going to jump in these pictures and just kind of talk about this and walk through them. This first one, we're getting into where Isabel herself is even starting to see the cracks in this whole organization or whatever, the Union of Hope that she is a part of, that they went through all this trouble to go to the nest, taking Laurent there, and wanting to be in this safe environment. Well, she's just starting to really doubt it, I think. She's seeing things kind of go on in the background or behind the scenes where she's not 100% convinced that it's for the greater good or it's for Laurent's good or just anything like that. She's really starting to doubt everything that she once believed so wholeheartedly in, that it's not the case anymore. And I think it's starting to scare her too. And kind of to further feed into that, we have this Union of Hope, I'm assuming, banner being strewn down the wall of the nest. And I think this is going to kind of bring more conflict or just bring more uneasiness or whatever to Daryl and to Isabel as they see this trying to take hold, seeing people like Losang trying to get people to come around to his way of thinking, and that Laurent is this savior and just all of that. And I think it's going to, like I've mentioned in many videos before, it's going to cause some conflict, and that's going to make Losang, I think he is becoming kind of a low-key villain for this season, just because of his diehard belief system and this woman that is whispering in his ear. I don't like her, and I can just tell that she is bad news already, and we haven't even really heard her speak too much. I don't think we've gotten a name yet, so I'm waiting to see how that all plays out too. And then here we have Losang with Laurent. Even Laurent himself has this exasperated look on his face, like, I don't want to be here, this is not my choice, and I don't think that he wants to be paraded out in front of people like this. I mean, I'm sure he cares about people. He kind of displayed that in the first season, but it might not be what he wants to be in the long run, where he was fed all of this growing up, and he just got to the point where he doesn't want to do this anymore, and it's just not who he wants to be. Then, as I mentioned, we got that chick in the back that I don't know her name yet. She's in purple, and she is going to be a bad influence. I'm 100% sure about that. She's someone working in the background to be just not in the best interest of other people. I don't think she's good news at all, and I already don't like her, and we don't even really know that much about her yet. Then we got this beautiful shot of the Ark there in Paris. It's, a wonderful piece of structure, and I would love to go see this someday in person, but hell, with the way things cost these days, who knows if that's ever going to happen. Then we got a shot of Daryl and Laurent here in this car, and I think this season we're going to see Daryl possibly form a stronger bond with Laurent and want to protect him, and I think that's what's going to really ultimately lead up to a throwdown with Daryl and Losang, because we've already seen within this first episode that Losang knows how to defend himself and he knows how to fight, so I think that's going to really lead to, like I said, a throwdown with him and Daryl. They're really going to get into it. I think it's going to be over the fate of Laurent and where they want to put him, and Daryl being totally against it. It's just going to be just a shitstorm of disagreement and discontent, and it's going to be a mess. Then we get our shot of a couple of new survivors, some new characters. Pretty sure they're not going to make it very far, because we've already seen in this trailer And I do have a snippet of it where one of them is actually hit with something, and I don't know if it kills them or they're just injured, but I think we're just being introduced to a couple new characters that are going to be cannon fodder for the most part. Then we get this shot we've seen here. This is after Carol and Ash make it to France, and this beautiful mountain shots and our two new survivors. We'll see what happens to them. I don't have high hopes for them, though. This is a shot I was referring to where we see this redheaded person, this redheaded woman, get hit with some kind of projectile. I don't know what's going on here, but she either gets hurt or that she just has a very short lifespan within this season. And this is, I think, what's also going to lead into a lot of shit. We come into the scene where Isabel is in Laurent's room and sees that he has been taken. The room is kind of disheveled with things kind of tipped over all over the place, and she screams out how he's been taken. I think it's Losang that takes him. Possibly, but there's also the possibility, though, too, that Madame Genet has found their location, because this could be very well during an attack where they come up on the nest, and this is where Daryl gets picked up. And we also see a couple of scenes where Laurent and Isabel and Falou are together, and it just looks like all hell's breaking loose. So I think that the nest is going to be a target, and we've kind of predicted with previous teasers and whatnot that we're going to see some sort of battle at this place. Because we got these dudes coming in. These dudes do not look friendly. They look like they are with the forces of Madame Genet, and they are invading the nest, and things are about to get very, very bad. Because we have Laurent here. I don't know if at this point he is taken or he is simply out of his room because he's actually in hiding, or maybe he got taken, then he got away, so he's in hiding somewhere within the nest, because surely there are many places to hide in that place. But moving on to the next one, we have a shot of this car being swarmed upon, and this is Anne or Annie, I can't ever remember her name, but this woman, Daryl meets up with her, so this could be, looks like the forces of the nest possibly, because I think I recognize that dude there up to the upper left of the frame where he was with Daryl, so they might be swarming her for information or something like that, because we get a shot in this next one. We have Daryl and Annie talking, and she is, like, he's asking for help, but I think she's reluctant to, but I think she's going to end up giving him the help anyways. And she might have a lot more influence than we realize, a lot more power than we realize, having taken the place of Quinn after he was killed. And so I'm interested to learn more about this character. But moving on to the next one, we have an interesting shot here. We have Genet and Carol. Now, obviously, I think Carol kind of just gets into a situation where this is the first person that she runs into. And she might right away detect what kind of person she is, and she will just play her for everything she's worth. She will get all the information that she needs to get out of her on the mission to get Daryl. So I don't think we're in any kind of trouble here of Carol making mistakes, but you just never know, because she's already lied to Ash, and that's just one thing I have not liked as a way to introduce their friendship or whatever, introduce whatever relationship they're going to have, probably for the short time that we're going to get it, because I just firmly believe that Ash does not make it past maybe another episode or two. I just don't think he is destined to make it all the way. I would love it, because he just seems like he would be an interesting character, but we'll just have to wait and see. But with this, I just think they're going to be together just long enough for Carol to get what she needs from her, and I hope it's not for very long, because I think there's going to be a handful of situations that they're going to get themselves into. But going on to the next one, now here we have another interesting shot. We have people that are actually bound, so if these people are still alive and they're injecting them with this super walker serum or whatever it is, that when they die, it's just part of the mutation or whatever. So at this point, I don't think they're even killing people, or they're not bringing in walker strays from the street. They're just straight up bringing people in, injecting them, and probably killing them, because we did get that bit from another teaser where it looks like they're just all together and they're opened up on and fired on from this gun that's in the back of a truck. So this might be a way that she possibly maybe punishes her enemies or something like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see the things that Madame Genet is willing to do to get Laurent, to get Daryl Dixon, and to get anyone that aligns with their side of the line. And just, it's going to be an interesting season nonetheless. But I guarantee by the end of it, we're going to be begging for this woman to be taken down in the most vicious way possible, because it would be sweet justice if, working with all these walkers, turning them, whatnot, she gets herself into a situation where she is killed by one of these things or by a horde of them. That would just be the ultimate justice for her going out that way. Then we have a shot of Falou here. I'm pretty sure this is at the nest when it's possibly being attacked. And he has already been kidnapped once, so I don't see him doing anything but putting up a fight to avoid that happening again. For him, I'm not sure. He could go either way as far as being killed or just making it through this and staying behind. And that's just the end of his character. And then we get a shot of Ash here running from the Super Walkers because, again, poor Ash, I don't think he's going to make it. And this might be the way he goes out, or I don't know, maybe he goes out fighting. We'll just have to wait and see. Then we get a shot here. This is probably part of the reason that Carol has associated herself with Madame Genet. She sees what kind of person she is, and she finds this guy, probably after some mention of Daryl, possibly. And she knows that this guy he has been linked to Daryl before, like he knows who he is, and she knows that she can get some form of information out of him to help her find him. And he does mention that if Genet finds him first, Dixon is a dead man, as you can see right there with the subtitle. That they are discussing Daryl, obviously, and she knows that he knows that he could help her find him. And I think this might be Condron's dying deed, as I don't think he will make it either. I think this season is going to be a lot of death, and I think that's just how they're going to play it out as the way to deal with a lot of these characters. Then we get a shot of them lighting off this cannon. This, I think, is an attack on the nest. This is them, maybe their first opening shot, possibly. Then this chick. I've mentioned this chick a handful of times. She was in one of our previous shots. I did talk about her a little bit in the previous video. I do not like this woman. She just has this look on her face, and you just want to smack the shit out of her. I don't trust her. I just think that she has very nefarious intentions, and it's not going to end well for our people, or something is just going to go down with this chick where she's going to be responsible possibly for the death of a few people, if not more. So I don't trust her, and I think she's on the wrong side of the fence, and she's going to be trouble. But anyways, guys, I guess that will do it for the photos. But I feel like all of these French characters, this is kind of going with everything that we know so far going into Season 3. As we know, they're leaving France. They're going into Spain. They're going to have a pit stop there in London, I'm pretty sure. That I think all of these French characters do not carry over into the next season. I think we're going to get a whole new set of characters because we have gotten a casting announcement of 5 new actors. And so I think they're going to move away from this, and we're going to see a completely different story. Whether or not Genet is going to continue to be a threat, I don't know. I feel like she could die this season too. And Condron, I don't think he's going to make it. So I really think after this season, all of these French characters, including Isabelle and Laurent, whether or not they die or they just stay behind, I don't think they serve a purpose past this, and they're going to just kind of fade them out and bring in this new set of characters and just possibly redo this every season. I don't know, but I don't think we're going to see these characters again after this season, and they might continue to just recycle new characters, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm hoping that all the hype that Norman Reedus has talked about the season finale is everything that we could hope for, and that will certainly change how we see the Walking Dead universe, because that's kind of how he's worded it, that it's going to change everything, I guess. But I guess we will wait and see. And I guess that will do it, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed my breakdown and my thoughts about Daryl Dixon, please leave a like, leave a comment. Of course, consider subscribing, and I'd really appreciate it. I will see you next time, so take care. Bye.